ahead and get started and just let people in as I go. But thank you, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining. To all the new faces and the people that joined the last call. Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to go through some different slides on a few topics, and then I'm going to open it up for overall sharing. Um, so everyone can see my screen, right? So just to kind of go over like logistics and the group values that we want to keep. Again, just reiterating that everyone's voice is important. So please, everyone has something to contribute to. So be respectful. Just so you know, I'm recording this to put this on YouTube. So if you have a problem with that, like remove your camera or whatever you need to do. But I just wanted to let you know that we are recording this so that other people can watch it that can't make it at this time. And then if you have any immediate Q&As, just put it in the chat and we'll go ahead and get to those questions. But at the end, we'll take questions as well. The agenda today is just a welcome and a brief tour of the website for those of you guys who haven't really checked out the website. We're going to do a brief recap of the statewide community of practice mission and objectives, a recap of the first meeting and the consensus that came out of that from people's inputs, and then an very short overview of the call for USDA Local Agriculture Market Program, which we're putting in a bid with Michael Fields Agriculture Institute. And we're looking for partners and letters of collaboration. And then just a draft of the State of Wisconsin Organic Market outline, and then open for member sharing and updates. I just thought this was a fun throwback. I don't know why this other thing isn't showing up, but this was from one of the old Organic Advisory Council newsletters from 2008. And just to be optimistic, we were at 918 certified farms and 243 certified organic processors and handlers, and now we're up to 1,600. So we have something to be thankful for. Yeah, so again, just to give a quick overview of Wisconsin Organics, it's a new nonprofit, independent 501(c)(3) registered that is focusing on strengthening and expanding Wisconsin's organic market development. The overall mission is to strengthen our organic sector here and create a statewide hub that connects people, shares information, and builds resilient marketplace. I'm going to do a quick website tour. For those of you, I'm just going to turn off my camera here. So this is the landing page for those of you guys who have not had a chance to go through it. You'll find out here it's kind of divided into two sections. The first section is about, and you can find out about Wisconsin Organics, our mission, all about USDA certified organic, and links to standards and the rules and regulations and kind of the overall 7 CFR standards and the practices. You can get some information on the National Organic Standards Board, which will be updated once the new board is announced, if it is. And then just an overview of the policies and the timeline of some key organic policies that you can click through here. Here we have just Wisconsin facts. We'll be updating this dashboard with more specifics as we do this organic market development analysis. But here you can just find overall stats, recent stats, and then information about our governance process here with the Organic Advisory Council and the meetings minutes. I actually need to add, I actually have all the minutes because I did a FOIA request. So I'll be updating this if you want to look at that. And then here's information about this community of practice and the previous meetings and just more information to share with people. In terms of the second section of hold on a second. Let me go back to this. The second section is really revolved around finding organic in Wisconsin. So these are all the directories that are being developed. This one are all the certifiers that are operational in Wisconsin. So there are about 80 plus or minus certifiers accredited in the United States, but these are really the ones that have certified other operations in Wisconsin. So this is to share with people who are thinking about transitioning, to know that, there's not only one certifier that you need to go through, there's many. So you can go here and kind of like look at each of their websites. So that's that directory. The other directory is targeted towards uh, organic input supplies that are developed in Wisconsin. This one doesn't have as many entries, but you can see here you can, disaggregate by planting stock and seeds, poultry and feed, animal supplements, biologicals, etc. I'm hoping to, all of these are kind of at the starting point, but we hope to, by the end of the year, make sure that these are complete directories. Um, the other one is just organizations that are working in Wisconsin that are organic related, whether they're technical assistance partners or whatnot. So you can kind of go through here and see who are working on kind of, organic adjacent or kind of organic technical assistance here. And then I'll be adding just the national main partners here too, which I haven't had a chance to do. Um, this one is, these are accredited uh, certified organic operations. Here's the overall map, but this will be updated shortly with like logos and more, you know, more details. But you can, this is just coming directly from the um, USDA Organic Integrity Database. You can also disaggregate it by livestock, poultry, or handling and crops. But you can, so this is also nice because you can see the farm, the operation, and then you can see their address and their certifications, who's certifying them, and then what exact crops or in terms of handling that they are authorized to actually certify organic. Yes. This one is one of my favorites. This is organic products. Products and beverages. So obviously this is growing, and as I find more products, it's growing in terms of like categories as well. So we even have like condiments. We have a lot of coffee handlers, for example, that certify organic and sell them in Wisconsin. So we should be supporting them. Obviously, we have a lot of grains. Um, yeah, so this is just that directory. And then uh, resources. These are technical resources, and they're categorized into these different technical areas. And so these are just helping people who want to get into organics learn about different topic areas. For example, you can look into organic textiles here or organic market development. There's a lot of different tools, and these are just leading directly to those tools. And this will be growing again. But I try to do ones that are relevant to Wisconsin, but the ones that are also relevant for any state. Um, and then this last one, new one, is like retailers, organic friendly retailers. Um, so that one is looking at, this will be growing. I just started this one. So it's cooperative groceries, farm stores, independent groceries. We especially want to get the farm stores in here to make sure that people's farm stores are in here. But right now it's more like cooperatives and independent groceries and food hubs. But you can take a look at that. Yeah. And then here's the newsletter that's published once a month. You can click into it and, scroll through it and read it. But it basically covers policy, technical, like national news, domestic news. We're featuring organic products from Wisconsin, and other organic initiatives you can see here. And then there's a section on, sorry, policy. So this is mainly right now focused on like national policy. We're hoping that this group will be, eventually working with constituencies to do more state level policy. Um, you can read the latest here. And then these are kind of like the new technical resources that will also be in the library, but they're just kind of highlighting the new reports that you might want to be aware of here. And then there's a section for local organic events. Those are like statewide and regional. And then any kind of national events that I think are relevant, like maybe like a National Organic Trade Association conference or something like that. Um, yeah. And then, yeah, so that's
Noreen, how does this come together, this monthly newsletter? Is this something you're doing in your spare time?
yes. So I would eventually appreciate help from others and stories, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to say for the group, I have had the pleasure of working with Noreen on some of my projects, and the volume of high quality work this woman gets done is absolutely mind-boggling. All of
Thank
this she's
thank
just
you.
done on her own.
Back to the presentation. Um, so yeah, so just to reiterate, this community of practice is really to unite our state through the whole value chain. So looking at consumers, ranchers, organic producers, handlers, researchers, businesses, and advocates to really just strengthen the local market and help grow the sector in Wisconsin. These are the three main goals. I'm not going to go over like all the objectives because they're on the website, but the three main goals are really just to strengthen and scale up Wisconsin's organic industry, cultivate the statewide networking and advocacy through this group and networking with each other, and then strengthening state organic market consumer awareness. And as of right now, we have 160 people signed up, and the target by the end of the year is 600 members. Yeah, and then who should participate? Anyone has a passion for organics in Wisconsin, basically. So again, farmers, livestock handlers, manufacturers, retailers, distributors, that should be up here, that's missing. Input suppliers, certifying agencies, academia, educators, etc. Uh, this I'm just going to go over. This is a recap of the first meeting, and the we kind of went along and introduced ourselves, said where we were from, and then talked about what people wanted to get out of this community of practice. So this is just that kind of like summarized. So the first one is everyone agreed that they appreciate this as a space for connection, collaboration, and shared learning. So really just helping with this networking and visibility across the state, knowing who's doing what in organics and not feeling alone, making sure that even if you're working in organics here, not necessarily in the state, that you have that network and having the safe space to talk about needs and challenges, and then talk about what are our needs and how can we help each other to kind of fulfill those needs. The second one is really focusing on growing and diversifying our organic market. We have a lot to offer in Wisconsin, and I think a lot of people are emphasizing this market access and expansion. Interest in identifying and addressing market infrastructure barriers and then figuring out how we can work together to address those. And then a mutual concern about how recently we have decreased our overall certified organic operations. So the desire to keep us a leader in the country and working together for that. The third one is really looking at support for transitioning uh, people. You know, we have a lot of organic farmers in the state who are actually practicing organic practices, but they're not necessarily certified. So helping them with that certification or technical assistance, and also coordinating those efforts around mentorship and supporting overall transition with certification and whatnot. And then the last one was kind of strengthening this network, using this network for um, having a coordinated effort for lobbying in our organic policy in the state to lobby our state legislature and senators, and hopefully good old Harriet is going to help take the lead on this since she's so good at it. But I think that, we really need to make sure that we lobby not only DACAP, but like our senators and other legislators here to make sure that we have more of a focus on organics in general. So using this group to build that constituency. I'm just gonna pause here for a second, and then if anyone who was on the last call maybe has something to add or see if this kind of summarizes what you guys thought. Harriet, Gary, Mark.
Well, it's just good to see things kind of moving along, and I'm kind of amazed how much you get done.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Um,
I would echo that sentiment that Harriet just mentioned and Charles elaborated on because it's true, Noreen, you're a beacon of light for the state of Wisconsin organic industry, and everything you're doing with your spare time unpaid is remarkable. Thank you.
Well, that's why we're going to the funding next slide. But Brooke, you asked will be yeah, beauty category for sure. Like the products also includes actually even fibers. But yeah, I it's on my list because beauty products are big, and we actually even in Wisconsin we have vitamins as well. Like so that's definitely. But yes, for sure, beauty products is definitely will be included. Okay, I'm just gonna go. So this is to the opportunity. As you know, people who know USDA opportunities knows that this is right now open for a bid. So we're putting together a bid with Michael Fields. I think Nicole's on the call, and we're going to focus on the local food promotion program, which we think is a great fit for what we want to do here. And the purpose is really to support the development, coordination, and expansion of local food enterprises here. Um, so, what we thought in terms of aligning with the goals of the program is looking at, again, strengthening this value chain of organic products, and then kind of having these four objectives that align with the key objectives of LFPP is increasing access to and availability of locally produced organic and value-added products, expanding market access for transitioning in small to mid-scale Wisconsin organic producers, and expanding the opportunities, as well as developing this and implementing a statewide coordinated marketing campaign for buying local Wisconsin organic. So, two kind of main activities that this would support is really thinking about developing this support local Wisconsin organic retail package. And, you know, it's similar to what Organic Trade Organization did at the national level with their organic market grant funding from USDA. So just think about like on the left here, you see kind of like the materials that they developed and that they had in retail. It'll be something similar to that. These are just obviously my sketches. It would involve a professional graphic designer, but you know, having the same kind of labeling, kind of like Artesian Grain Collaborative did. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but like basically, you know, making sure that we have um, these, you know, small aisle violators, shelf tags, etc., channel strips, and then have the educational materials and branding that we would, you know, have certain retailers pilot and then use. So part of this will be trying to get letters of collaboration from retailers, especially independent grocery stores and co-ops. And so I've started a list of those, but if any of you guys have contacts there, I'd greatly appreciate it so that we can get the letters of collaboration. Um, and then the second kind of part of it would be a focus on like a workshop for Wisconsin organic producers to kind of up their antics for selling organic at the retail place. So, you know, making sure that there's some technical assistance and like actual, I would say more, instead of just talking about rules and regulations, having like more hands-on workshops to actually help people with their product labeling and value added. And these are just some examples, including the great work that Doodla Farms has done because I love their labeling and the, you know, bringing out the organic seal. But yeah, I think that just yeah. So see, these are some of the ideas in terms of the technic like the workshop would involved. So if people have ideas on that, happy to share. Um, yeah, so I'm just gonna pause there. Does anyone have any questions about that, or I'll probably be reaching out to some of you to get letters of collaboration.
Maybe I missed it, Noreen, but how do we interact with the school system and the military?
Um, I think that's definitely should be another grant. And I actually just talked to April today, so definitely we'll continue that conversation, for the farm to school. Um, I think Wisconsin Food Hub will be involved in this, and they're like now they have 110 producers, but I think, yeah, I mean, we need to make sure, I think just moving forward together as all of us, we need to figure out strategies to make it more cost effective to strategize like the farm to school, for example, and to have like, come together and have a strategy of like how do we market like it together as a package more or whatever so that we make sure that, instead of like 20 people going to those events and conferences, we kind of could have one focal person to kind of represent us all and get us into those. But military, I'm not sure. Can you give me an example about military?
Well, I'm not talking MREs, I guess I'm talking mess halls and how we can get into all of the various bases around Wisconsin and feed them good food, right? We expect them to be all they can be, right? And we cut them off at the knees and feed them high processed, horrible food. So I think the military and the schools should be, and that's a large buying arm, right? Lot of servings. So I think we need this baseline demand for organic to continue in this state. And I think it certainly, after it's organic, it certainly has to be local. You got to know your origin. And I think we got to have a whole origin push, as 80% of the food is organic food is imported. We need an off ramp for our chemical farmer friends that want to get off the hamster wheel, chemical hamster wheel, but don't know how. So I think that origin is really got to be a big push, and then a lot of these bigger demand things, hospitals, food RX, right? All of that, I think we are the solution to, and I think we need to protect our future, and our future is our kids. So, you know, um,
Mark, I got a connection for you for military. This is commissary based, because you have to have a broker to get on military bases. So I got a contact with for you. I'll send over that could help you out with that. But that's for the commissaries. That's for their retail grocery stores.
thank
There,
you.
there was a conference in the Illinois Buy Local and Organic, and I'm forgetting the name of the organization, but I'll look it up. And there was somebody there who presented about partnering, getting food into military. So I'll try to find out who that was and where that's going on. And I guess get it to you, Noreen, and
Yeah,
maybe
no, that would be
you
great.
also, Mark. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, I'll make sure this is a good segue into this market outline because I'll make sure that we're reflecting kind of that in the report as well. Um, so John, you can just contact me for the to get on the website, but um, and I'm going to go to this. So yeah, so I think this is a good segue because this is just the outline of the organic state of the Wisconsin's organic market outline that we're doing. So this really um, follows from the 2021 report, and I don't know why the picture's not coming up, but Harriet was involved in that, so she can tell you a little bit more about that they did with University of Wisconsin. That kind of looked a lot, that report looked a lot at the NASS data, which is the USDA National Agricultural Statistics data. But what we're doing is we want to get a baseline of where we're at in the market. So I've started this analysis and I'll be sharing it with certain people and asking you guys to let me know who should be doing technical reviews of certain sections. This is the outline I had so far. I definitely want to add something on farms and military and other forms of procurement. So I think that that's definitely missing that I'll have to add to this. But basically, um, we wanted to start with what does it start in for? Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong page. Okay. So I was like, what is it starting for? So that, first is just the purpose of the report is just to, obviously, um, to give the state of what is Wisconsin's organic market, because we have a lot of national data, but we don't have a lot of Wisconsin specific contextual data. So we'll be summarizing kind of the national organic market context and some of the trends in consumer behavior and attitudes towards organics from some of the key, like, Nielsen and other data that is readily available. And then we'll kind of focus more on Wisconsin organic market overview. And I've just kind of divided up into these categories. I'm going to show you what I've started on organic meats, grass-fed beef, and organic poultry just right after this. But basically, giving an overview of who are our producers, what are they producing, do we have any sales data, what have been key like infrastructure challenges, etc. So that's kind of where these topic areas are going to be, and it's divided into crops, meat, grass-fed beef, and organic poultry, and then dairy and eggs. And then we'll be summarizing the distributors and wholesalers operational that are working with organics in Wisconsin, as well as organic friendly retailers, and then again these infrastructure and logistics and policy environment. Um, I'm still wondering what happened to, that's weird. Oh no, that is 4. Okay. So, and then the second half of the report is really going to go into what is our strategy to grow our organic market. So we'll be looking at lessons learned that I'm hoping, to have discussions with people who have been involved in the sector for a long time, and then come up with moving forward, what are our key goals, strategic objectives, and then targets and key performance indicators. These will be high level because we hope that with this report, it'll help us to get other funding to do like more in-depth planning. But we can kind of all know who we should be coordinating with at the national level as well as like within Wisconsin. And then this will all inform the last part of the report, which will be, also discussed through this group. What are our opportunities? Where do we see where we can grow? Um, and these are just some ideas here, but like really just what are the ideas that we have as a community is how we can grow the sector, and, based on kind of some of that data. So I'm just going to go over this and not get it too much in the details because I want to leave time for sharing. But I just started this analysis because I went to a meat marketing workshop and I was like, well, I really should know the details about organic meat in Wisconsin. So pulled out the organic integrity data and then I looked at um, some of the key data from Rodale and that Wolf and Associates just recently did, and this is what I came up with. So, as we know, national growth, dairy is up, organic eggs are up 16%, organic beef is up 37%. So that's pretty high opportunities there. In Wisconsin, we have 669 certified organic livestock operations. Um, and the top Wisconsin organic commodities that relate to that are really milk, eggs, and cattle. Um, we have an opportunity here to expand that. And you'll see here USDA kind of does this analysis where they look at organic eggs and chickens consumed in the Midwest in terms of the consumer has 20% of consumers are consuming organic eggs and 14% of consumers are consuming organic chicken. We have now 7 certified organic livestock handlers. We lost 2 this year. Organic Valley was sold to, Organic Prairie was sold to Thousand Hills, and then Crescent Meats stopped doing processing as of recently because they want to focus more on their own meats. So these are kind of what we have in terms of handlers. So that is definitely a huge barrier we have, for example, is poultry handlers. So this is something to think about when we look at the whole value chain. So just some opportunities again, just thinking about that organic dairy feed value added processing, making looking at consumer demand in metropolitan areas, etc. Um,
Is there a recent rule change about slaughtering, Noreen?
in
Local
terms of
butchering? In the
what?
in the new farm bill? Is that going to change things if that gets passed?
I don't know. I would need to look into that.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just a little bit more breaking down the data, and I hope to do this more once, in the report. It's just a matter of getting the data and figuring out what's useful. So it's also nice to hear from you guys what kind of data you think will be useful, because I can just take the data and kind of pull it apart, and then we can look into things. So these are just out of those 669 operations or whatever, these are like the animals that the operations have overall. And again, um, the number of operations that are having those kind of animals, not the number of animals, if that makes sense. So because we don't have that information. Um, yeah, so again, just we have a lot of underused infrastructure, especially in dairy. We have gaps in grain and feed coordination, especially near dairy and poultry hubs. So that's an opportunity there. Limited value added processing for meat, milk, grains, and specialty crops. So that's again an area to look at. And then we have some trend. We all know that we have a lot of organic producers, but they're not necessarily certified, and they for different reasons. And I started doing an analysis on that, but I found out that a lot of the people who dropped certification were usually had multiple certifications, like split farms or mixed operations. So maybe they just dropped their livestock or whatever. But in some cases, it's they don't want to pay or other reasons. But I hope to have a better analysis of that at another time. And then yeah, just we have a mature sector for dairy, eggs, and livestock. So I'm not going to go through this. Oh, what happened to it? Oh, these are just some of the trends based on the national data that's available. Um, that you can see that obviously milk is going up, and then this is on price of eggs. So it's a good time to do organic eggs, depending on your input supply costs. And that one was I don't know what happened. There was one on grass-fed beef, but it somehow it disappeared. So yeah, so these are the operations. Obviously, I just yeah. So now I'm just gonna open up the floor, and people want to introduce themselves for any new members, talking about what organization you're coming from, what city you live in, and yeah, anyone else sharing member or updates. So I'll open it for people who didn't join the first call.
Hey everybody, I'm Sam. This is my first time here. I am the president of the Milwaukee Food Council and the Wisconsin Farmers Union Milwaukee Waukesha chapter alongside with Noreen. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it there.
Well, and he's organic vegetable farmer as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Very good at it.
So actually, interestingly enough, we did not certify this year, and as far as the analysis for why people don't, this is our ninth season, and we chose not to for a variety of reasons that honestly are, I think, worth exploring as far as the difficulty of the organic certification process, especially for diversified vegetable growers. I grow on less than an acre, and it takes about 20% of our expense budget to pay for the certification. We're only given $750 back from DATCAP if we fill out the cost share program, and we have to apply for every planting of 50 different vegetables that are each planted about two times. So it's
Yeah.
pretty hilarious. But anyway, thanks.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I wasn't on the last one. I'm JD Greenwalt. I'm the CEO for Westby Cooperative Creamery down here in Westby, Wisconsin. And we are the oldest dairy cooperative around, and we make organic cottage cheese, organic sour cream, and organic yogurt.
All delicious.
And dips.
Excellent.
Yes,
Glad to
I love the
hear.
sour cream. And I love the French onion dip, which is a very Wisconsin item.
Yeah, the French onion dip's a big hitter. That's a winner for sure.
Thank
Although
you.
we on the French onion dip, we lie on the label. We say it's 8 servings. It's not. It's one. You open it up and it's gone every time. So
Yeah. So I might ask, what would you want to get out of this group?
I really want to understand. I'm more familiar with the dairy side, obviously, but if I can understand what happens in the other parts of the organic business and where we can help each other, or where sometimes, hopefully, we don't, we run into conflicts and we can streamline some of those processes.
Great. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Hey folks, this is Rufus. I'll go if that's okay.
Yes, go.
Everybody froze up.
Oh, go ahead. Yep. Can you see us now?
Okay, this is Rufus Hockey. I run Keewaydin Farms in Southwest Wisconsin. Been doing organic produce now for 32 seasons. Oh, sorry, 23 seasons. Sometimes it feels like 32. And I am also a new member of the Marble Seed Board of Directors, and I'm very passionate about organics. I think that it was a no-brainer for us to be certified on our farm. And I feel like in the last couple of years, I feel more strong about this commitment we have on our farm to mesh ecology with agriculture. And I know that in the organic world, we can produce a whole ton of food for people. And I love showing that balance between ecology and agricultural production. So that's what we're working on here. We also were recipients of RFSI grant last year for equipment. So we have some scaling up we're doing this season. We are also providing some limited shipping for folks in our area to the Madison markets and maybe back. So if there are folks looking for a truck to haul things, we're happy to do that for our organic partners. We've been kind of working with other folks on shipping projects. I do feel like we need more dedicated organic shippers. I think that we tend to get mixed in with everything else, and I think sometimes that loses the mission of organics. So I think that just dedicated organic shipping is kind of something I'm interested in. And I also have not done a lot of advocacy work. I've never talked to any of my senators. I'm curious about that. I think I know, Harriet. I'm sorry. I would like to, but I feel like it's just not something I've done yet, and I'd like to do that now.
I work with you on that.
Yeah, and obviously, it's the summertime, so I'm just feeling very overwhelmed. But I'll be back in the fall and winter for sure, and I'll have lots of time then. Sam, I'm also kind of curious about who you're getting certified with, because that seems a little crazy as far as the requirements. It seems a little overbearing. So maybe it's just your certifier. Maybe you need to change certifiers.
It's MOSA.
Okay. Maybe you need to talk to them about who's inspecting you then, because I'm also certified with MOSA, and that doesn't seem correct. But anyway, I'm sorry we lost you in the organic world, and maybe you just need a different inspector, I guess.
Well, yeah, no, and it's good. Honestly, if I might just put together like a fee kind of thing just and keep it internal between people to share, because I know that people are weird about that being public, but if that would be helpful to like people who are thinking about transitioning. But yeah,
Can I
good point.
answer? Could I
What?
also answer Gary's question there? Because yes, I mean we do interact with Organic Valley and Organic Logistics. It seems like they're on such a large scale that they don't really. And it's been interesting to sort of like we're in Organic Valley in the produce pool, and it's fascinating to me over the years how that hasn't really developed on a more local scale. It seems very, you know, very much focused on large scale. Um, and I could be wrong about that, but also, yeah, I mean, whatever. We're interested in talking to them, but
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the list to think about distribution. I didn't see any of you guys there last week, but this week, Wisconsin Food Hub had a launch of the Super Transit Corridor. They got some new funding to work on distribution between Minnesota, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So they're working with different certifiers. So that should be interesting to find out more. But that's also an area I'd like to start mapping out and, figuring out kind of like the best approach to that too. But I think that's something we could write in one of these grants. And then in terms of the policy stuff, hopefully we can secure funding and make it fun where we have like a policy day where we get together and, have lunch and go over the topics and make it easy and for people to feel confident to go. Maybe Harriet could get some funding from OFA for that.
Yeah, so I had a couple of things I would add. One is I just recently wrote like a one pager, both sides, on how to do policy advocacy. Starting from like an email to, phone call, in person, just the various ways to do it. So that would be something that people could look at and, help them. The other thing is public procurement, like in your grant, Mark Dudla brought up, like military and schools. But what's really nice about having that type of market is that you kind of grow what you know you're going to sell. It's not like going to the farmer's market or even working with restaurants. I mean, they say they're going to want something and they don't take it or whatever. But, a school, they have a certain amount of kids and they need to. And I know that when the other, the local, I forget the name of the program that was going right around the pandemic and that just got canceled. It really was very good. And although a lot of producers, organic producers, were in the program because it's like as a guaranteed sale, they knew what they were doing and they got a good price, but it really was not tracked as an organic product. So that was kind of a loss in a way for the schools and the parents to not even know that they're getting organic food. So that's an issue. I mean, so I'm hoping, if you get the grant that there is going to be some publicity that this is organic and that kind of thing. And then lastly, this week and next are the National Organic Standards Board is meeting. The two public comment webinars are Tuesday and Thursday of this week. And then the meeting is in Omaha and I'll be just listening virtually and watching. Is next week, Tuesday through Thursday. And the thing that I have been working on as an update is trying to change the rules so people can run livestock in orchards. So kind of a little specialty issue, but it was something that a group of farmers brought to the Organic Farmers Association. And I think we've given, even if you want, if you're interested in that, you can go to regulations.gov, go to the NOSB page. It's all, there. You can find it and look for our comment. And we've answered everybody's barrier, why it's no good. And I talked to the FDA, and came up with some good wording for changing the rules. So we'll see what happens there. But that would be kind of an education in a way of, instead of complaining about things you don't like, let's find the solution to make it better. And that's the last thing, is that in advocacy, we are working very hard in OFA to lessen this burden on small scale producers. I'm a small scale producer. I also have had issues with my certifier. It just happened to be MOSA, but with asking for ridiculous things from a small scale producer. So that is being worked on very seriously by numerous organizations to make organic certification fun again, because it's not fun anymore.
Good luck.
What's that?
Good luck.
We're working at it. There's some stuff coming around. Can't really talk about
So
this.
can I ask all you Wisconsinites, how many of you met Congressman Tony Weed? Two of you.
Yes.
I had an hour with him I was in DC last week for the Supreme Court oral argument. I had a terrific meeting with Congressman Weed, who is looking forward to collaboration with Shelley Pingree of Maine, who is without a doubt the leading voice for organic in the House Ag Committee. I made the case to both Congressman Weed and Congressman Pingree that the time has come to really deal with and fix some of the problems with OFPA and try to get an open a bunch of doors to organic, because organic food and farming has viable solutions to deliver to so many of the big problems that really are weighing on people's minds at all levels of government. And the fact that I think Congressman Weed and Congressman Pingree could sort of become the foundation of a bipartisan group of members of Congress on the House side, anyway, to get some progressive elements into legislation in the next years. I think it's worth paying attention. And Harriet, what's your sense of him when you've met with him?
I've only had a very short meeting with him, but his sister runs the Organic
Right.
Collaborative certificate, the Organic Certificate Program under Aaron Silva at the University of Wisconsin, and used to work for Organic Valley. And so I speak to her quite a bit, and then
Yeah.
she whispers in his ear, because
Yeah.
I'm not a constituent, right?
Yeah.
So I'm over in Western Wisconsin and he's on the eastern side. But the other thing is that he is in a district that has quite a few organic farmers, and before, and so his district is, even though they do bring in Republicans and he is a Republican, is really quite purple. And the previous person, I don't know, he voted, I think, to get rid of Trump. I don't know. He resigned, and then the guy before him was Reed Ribble, who was a big supporter of organic. So that district has been a good place to get Republican champions for organic for the past
Yeah.
20 years.
He also told me he has a strong contingent of Organic Valley dairy producers and conventional dairy producers, all of whom are deeply concerned about the decline of the dairy industry in the state of Wisconsin. And I said to him, well, Congressman, every congressman needs an issue to take on and to make a difference on. And he said, yep, this is one I would really like to. And so I started talking to him about what Guy Jaworski has taught me about dairy farming. And he was just fascinated. And
Yes, he wants.
much of what I told him, he had no idea about.
No, he doesn't know much about agriculture, but you can't overwhelm him either. But I think he understands that, especially dairy is the backbone of Wisconsin agriculture, and has actually been, when there was all these family farms, and then there were local, creameries, and the infrastructure has just really gone downhill. from veterinarians to, cheese making facilities. I mean, it used to be, there was like a cheese factory every 5 miles because people were driving their canned milk to in a horse wagon. We don't have them every 5 miles anymore, but we probably shouldn't take over that. But that is another thing, is that livestock agriculture you brought up, Noreen, is a big issue, and the number one imported product to the US is organic beef by like a huge amount. And as an organic inspector, it is not that hard to raise organic beef. It is really not that hard. So I don't understand why. Well, I do. It's first of all, it's coming in cheaper, and second of all, we don't have the processing facilities that we need.
Well, the disparity, I could speak to that because I'm in beef, but the disparity from Australia versus domestic on beef trim, as an example, is about $3.50 a pound. So, to give you a little context, it's massive. And consumers say they want to support local and regional and organic and all these things, but at the end of the day, what are they picking up? They're picking up Australian or Argentinian beef, So
Yeah.
there's very few. There's pockets of opportunities, let's call it, within, organic protein, domestic organic protein, and the majority of those pockets are on the West Coast.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure because we only have a few minutes left. John, Brooke, and Rita, and Deb, Kath, and Scott. Did you wanna?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Brooke. I'm the owner and founder of Biatch Organics. We just moved to Hazel Green, Wisconsin about a year and a half ago from Colorado. I've been certified organic for 11 years. We have, gosh, I don't even know, probably like 30 different certified organic skincare and personal care products, from, actual skincare, body butters, makeup removers, to more functional things like mosquito repellent, deodorants, pain rubs, things like that. And then we recently moved into mineral makeup, and so I'm looking to do more of like a made with line with these, though they're not certified yet. So yeah, we've been growing like crazy. We have quadrupled our business over the last year, and I was really excited to be invited to this group because I'd love to connect with like-minded people and help out on the advocacy side of things.
Yeah, and good point. I need to add that to the state of the market report. Sorry, what was the name of the organization?
It's Biatch Organics. We make beeswax based skincare, so
What do I
organic
spell?
bees.
Can you write that in
Yeah, it's
the
Biatch.
text box?
Yeah.
That's an awesome. That's an
Yeah,
awesome
it's
name.
BEE-OCH, and it stands for Be Original, Be Changed, Be Heard. And it's all about eliminating toxic chemicals from your personal care products, not only your food, but skincare is some of the most toxic things um, you can possibly consume.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to touch base with you sometime after this call. I think I remember looking at your site. John, did you want to introduce yourself?
I was actually just typing up a little introduction because I have to sign off soon.
Oh, sure.
John Hendrickson, I am here representing the Center for Integrated Agricultural Systems. We're a small sustainable ag research and outreach unit at UW-Madison.
Nice.
Not all of our work is right on target with organic, but certainly a significant amount is.
Yeah, welcome. What would you like to see this group to do?
I see it as a way of networking and, keeping ourselves informed of what others are doing and finding ways to collaborate and work together.
Great. Scott Rice.
Hi, I'm Scott Rice. I work and run a recruiting practice by the name of Natural Careers. We're in Madison. I'm from the La Crosse area, Driftless. Grew up on a farm there. Still have and run 125 acres in La Crosse County. I have been a recruiter, as they say, for 20 years, supporting the natural products arena. I do think, Noreen, that you should have a paywall that we could give you some money. I know it's a nonprofit, but there's a cost of doing this, and there's a number of people that I'm associated with that I like to support them and give them a little bit of money every year, just because it's a lot of work, and I get it, and I'm here for the right reasons, and supporting the cornucopias, the Beyond Organics, and the Rodale Institute. That's kind of what I do.
Thanks. Rita? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Rita Hinden, my training is in public health and epidemiology. For about 30 years now, I've been advocating that food and food systems belong at the center of public health. So I've done a number of projects, led a number of projects, or collaborated on projects in that regard. I came to Wisconsin 14 years ago, 12 years ago, and was just startled at the size of your farms coming from the Northeast. Um, let's see, now I'm on the board of the Food, Faith, and Farming Network, which is a small organization that gives small grants for great projects to promote local agriculture, many of them organic. I guess Rufus got a grant, and before I was on the board, I got two grants from them, one on behalf of promoting rye as a smart grain for the upper Midwest, and the other supporting Walter Goldstein, who formerly was a research director at Michael Fields, and he's been developing better corn in response to organic farmers asking him to do that years ago. I love the community of practice to learn more about that. Um, One of the projects I started 20 years ago at my undergraduate alma mater was advocating for a campus initiative that I named Food Matters, to use the campus food system at colleges to do what they do in kindergarten. They teach math with a pie that you cut in quarters, and use the campus food system for experiential learning by linking the academic and administrative functions of a university and making it transparent, and having the cultural studies students collaborate with dining services to serve French night, to have the students who are concerned about ecology and evolutionary biology contribute to what's ethical food, to have psychology courses. There was a professor who taught psychology at this campus, who said he would who taught decision making in psychology. He would invite students to write their papers on individual and institutional food choices. It's never kind of caught on fully, but now 20 years later, I guess with some encouragement from Chuck Benbrook, who I see has signed off, he said, boy, if we could get this going on 30 campuses nationally, it could be a game changer. And then we could go from there to nursing homes and the like. So the conversation today was pretty exciting. I love partners. I have a one-page prospectus for it. I'm happy to share. That's
Definitely share. Yeah.
enough for now.
Yeah. And I'll set up a mechanism for sharing. So if anyone wants to share anything, I'll put a part on the page, and the community practice page, for sharing those kind of resources. So feel free to send it to me. Ngozi?
Hi, my name is Ngozi Akobike. We have a farm in Osceola, Wisconsin. We also have a value-added products. We grow vegetables and some herbal, which we use for medicinal purposes. Like one of them we make into capsules for people to use.
Nice.
We are growing organically, but we are not certified.
Oh, that's great. Welcome. And how did you find out about this group?
I think this is my second time I got an email.
Okay, great.
Somebody targeted me.
I'm doing something right. Or if it came from someone else, that's even better. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what would you like to get out of this group?
I want to learn. learn more about what others are doing and learn more about process.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you for joining. And I was gonna say Karibu because you seem to have a name from East Africa, but I didn't want to assume anything just because I lived in Tanzania for 6 years.
Yeah, that name is in East Africa, is in Asia,
Okay.
and it's in West Africa. So, and they mean different things
Yeah,
altogether.
okay. Okay.
So, but mine is from West Africa,
Okay, fine.
and it means
I've also worked
bless.
in West
It
Africa.
means blessing.
Oh, great. Which country are you from?
Nigeria.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've worked in Nigeria a few times. Great. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I think that's it. Is there anyone else on here that wanted to say anything?
Yeah,
Oh,
Noreen, this is Guy Jadarski, and I this is my first time on the call. I looked at the last the YouTube video, and there's several people on there that I know from working with in the years past. I'm a veterinarian, been a livestock veterinarian for almost 40 years now. I've been working with organic livestock farmers for over 20 years. Worked for Organic Valley for several of those years and retired about a year ago. And I'm my interest and abilities are more livestock. Here, what Rita and also Rufus said alluded a little bit to this is the interaction of ecology, health, human health, animal health. Wendell Berry says health is really from a family of words that means wholeness and everything working together. And so I think that's my focus. I haven't found my place. I've been retired for about a year, and I've been doing a little bit of educational things. So education and workshops is what I like to do. I haven't really found my niche yet, but I do have some property and I'm working on some agroforestry on with too. So, but that's, yeah, this group, very interesting, very ambitious, I would say, comprehensive coverage of everything organic. And the challenge I see for the start, because that segments the interest somewhat. But to me, the marketing is important. The political engagement is important, and I can help with technical support on that stuff. But my interests and abilities aren't there. So I think at some point this group will have to work. I would just suggest that segment it into different parts of people with different interests working on, and then maybe come back together as a big group. Because in 1 hour to cover this whole landscape is it's a pretty daunting. So. I'm here as a farmer knowledge resource, and I would say that I've learned more from farmers over the years than I learned from veterinary school or from veterinary journals or veterinary literature. And so the farmers themselves, the organic farmers, are one of our greatest resources, and we need to facilitate their interaction. Some of them are good, very outspoken and so forth, and other ones are very good at what they do, and they need help, sharing what they know. And so that's where I would fit in with this whole thing. So thank you.
yeah, no, great. I think I met you at the organic dairy, and we definitely want to tap into you for anything that we do with that. But yeah, welcome your participation, and hopefully you can invite others, like-minded people. Um, did I miss anyone that wanted to say anything? Deb?
You called me out. This is Deb Jakubik, up in Northwest Wisconsin, Chippewa County. My fiance Tom Moose and I have a 40 cow organic grass-fed dairy. We ship to Organic Valley. He has been certified for 20 years, and I am just taking over some of the certification stuff. So that's super fun. Not really. So we are very active in Wisconsin Farmers Union, National Farmers, NFO, as well as I'm the current board president for Grassworks. So a lot of different touch points. It's great to see so many people on the call here too. And Tom is also a new board member with Rufus on the Moses board. So that's trying to do a lot just to keep organics going and grow it. And not sure what to expect out of all of this, but just wanted to be on to see where we could help out or where we could chip in at all.
Yeah. And what would you like to get out of this group with that in mind?
Like I said, just mostly just to kind of stay in the know on what's going on and how we can kind of connect dots. If there's anything any of our other organizations can help with or we can collaborate with, that's really where I feel like I can help the most.
Oh, excellent. All right. Well, I don't want to keep anyone else too long since thank you for staying over for the ones that have. Is there any other comments or last things that people want to share before I close out? All right. Thank you so much for joining. We'll make the next one for, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, thanks, Noreen. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.